As a result of your assistance, the human army's power has significantly waned. That being said, there's nothing to be gained from drawing out this conflict further.
And?
We could end this with one final battle, but only if we send out our elite force to do the job, which means that we'll...
RE Monster episode number 7, and one of the things that a lot of anime that have OP characters, that they tend to do this one thing that generally really annoys me, and not every single really over OP character anime does this, but some of them do tend to do this, and I didn't think that that was going to happen with RE Monster, considering everything we've seen so far. But let me kind of explain it to you, and you can tell me on what tier, what level it bothers you, if at all. But here's kind of my thing, is Ogoro at this point, or, Gaburo, whatever you want to call him, Ogoro, Gaburo, at this point, he's been depicted as, overly OP. At this point, he's evolved multiple times. He took his skill that he had in his former life into this life, being able to absorb and gain new skills by, eating. And at this point, he has collected hundreds of skills. So, he's beyond OP. And in this episode specifically, in partnership with the elves, they go in to finally finish the war against the humans. And in the last bout, they're taking on about 30,000 humans, to their couple of thousand soldiers and skull people and everything else. And he ends up facing one of these people called like the Seven Braves. And essentially they're basically the country or the continents or the world's 7 strongest, people or whatever, which is totally fine. I totally get that. You know what I mean? Like the world has to have the strongest, their defense force as well too. But even then, the anime has kind of depicted to us that, Gaburo is like, he's top of the food chain at this point. And my issue, or kind of my nitpick, I guess, this episode is he goes and he fights this bug boy. And in my head, it's like if he went full tilt out the gate, like not testing, not, pussyfooting around, just went full tilt, unleashed all the skills, because all he really did was use a axe that isn't his strongest weapon, and then all he did was maybe use a couple abilities and a little bit of magic. But if he went full tilt, I don't think that you or I could say that there's no way that that little boy or that bug boy runs away from him and even makes it out. But that is what happened. He decided to not go full tilt. He decided to test him out for whatever reason. He decided to let his lust to eat him, kind of like overtake his thought process. And he ended up letting him get away. And it just kind of bothers me a little bit. Because, at this point, he's this OP ogre character, or OP goblin character, whatever you want to say. But he's this OP character who should theoretically be able to take on, anybody and everybody. But this one little bug boy becomes his kind of like standstill. And now this bug boy's going to have to come back again and, re-challenge him later down the line. And it just kind of bothers me. I think it's a thing that a lot of anime that have OP characters decide to do. It's like you have One Punch Man and decide of do and instead of doing the one punch, he decides to do like some finger flicks. It's like, well, why? You're the One Punch Man. Punch him. Punch one punch, and let's end this fight. But then it's like, no, let's go finger flick. It's like, why? So that's kind of where I'm at, with this episode. It's just like, okay, it's either we've been lied to and he's not, top of the food chain. He's not the strongest, which I don't believe at this point, based on everything that he's done, all the skills, all the powers, I don't believe that there's anybody stronger at this point. I just believe that he pulled the Goku and just went like, he's like, I could go Super Saiyan 3 right now and just end it, but that wouldn't be any fun. I'm just going to go Super Saiyan 1 and get my ass beat and almost die, because that's more fun. He's going to pull the Goku on us, which I hate. So, anyways, that's my kind of thought on the fight and stuff. Everything else for the episode, they partner up with the elves. They get some more good graces from the elves. They take and destroy a couple of other of the human domains, or like the human settlements, or the human army settlements, I guess you could say, the human army encampments. I think that's probably the word I'm looking for. Encampments. They basically are driving all the humans out of the forest. The war is basically done. 𝐒𝐻𝐴 finally gets the elixir. He creates the elf elixir, and by the pleading of the human girl that he got last episode, she was like, "Hey, the princess is very sick. Like, she really needs this thing. This is why the humans are invading, is because they need this not ointment, but they need this this cure to save the princess." So he creates a clone, and he basically goes and gives the king, or would-be king, the thing. He's like, "Hey, y'all need to get out of the forest. Here's the thing you want. You're in our debt," kind of thing. And that kind of ends the war at that point. So he's able to satisfy his new girl, which is the knight. And then he gets to satisfy the war ending. So, he doesn't have to sacrifice more people. Which leads me into the last point of, there was 30 people in total between like the kobolds and the goblins and the elves that ended up dying, which is pretty good considering they faced thousands and thousands of humans. Only 30 people died, but that still hit home pretty hard across the board. So I thought that was a really good moment for the episode. Overall, don't get it twisted. I still love 𝐸_monster. I think it's fantastic. I love every episode. I was still entertained this episode. I was just entertained, but then also irked of like, oh man, I hate when they do this thing of like depicting this like ultimate character, and then they don't ultimately finish somebody. It just always gets frustrating to watch. So that's just my point of view, though. So let me know yours in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next week for episode number 8 of 𝐸_monster. All right. Peace out, my friends.